It starts with the realization that you create your own reality. This is the hardest pill to swallow for most people, as you have to own up to your life, the good and the bad. There is no outer God to blame. Therefore, most people will run away from this responsibility, as it is much easier to complain about life than to actually change it. Therefore, as long as you give your power to the outside world, God, government or your ex, you will never be able to regulate your emotions. How can you? You can't control the world unless you take responsibility. And unless you accept that the world is coming from within you, via your thoughts and feeling accepted by the subconscious mind, how can you change the world? The answer is via forcing. Like a thug. Or a corrupt politician. Or a religious con artist. Or forcing your love on your ex and try to manipulate your relationship. Basically, living life with ego. Abandonment of ego leads to inner peace. There is no other way. Ego makes us human. Makes us believe that it is us against the world. We must forcefully take what we want and so on. You see, ego starts wars. It makes you ignore your wife or GF to manipulate the relationship. It is not all bad as it is a survival mechanism. But it is animalistic. You can't really transcend into higher levels of consciousness unless you become aware of this animal inside. Animal reacts. Not respond. Therefore, with slightest inconvenience, you will react to the world negatively. Not knowing that whatever you resist persists. Learning to respond to things from inner control is the pathway to peace. We have been given dominion over this life by the divine. But we won't see results so long as we are being overwhelmed by our ego. Ego won't let you see what you want to see. It will always point out to what is. The things you lack and how unfair is the world. So, first step is to not react to life. But to respond. If anything negative happens, don't label it negative mentally. Just observe. If you feel pain, feel it fully. Without labeling it as good or bad. Learn to not accept every interpretation of your mind. Your mind is always basing its interpretations on incomplete data or your past. It is not reliable. You can't change a bad circumstance by giving it all your power. You must always put your focus on what you want, rather than what is. If what is bad, then observe it without reacting. Don't give it any power. You see, you are the one who accepts what your mind presents to you at any given moment. Your mind is not you. So, you can reject its interpretation that the girl you want doesn't love you. You can reject its interpretation that you don't have what it takes to be rich. You can say no to its story about you being not good enough. And you can tell it the story that you want to live. You can ignore when someone doubts you. By focusing within and realizing who you are. The moment you give power to the outside world is the moment you start suffering. And the moment you drive life from within is the moment you will start commanding control on life. Life will respond to your desires and mental discipline. Just like it is responding to your current thoughts and feelings. It is a misconception that we need to be born charming to be loved. Or born rich to have money. You must first present the consciousness of being rich and charming first to have it in your reality. Your entire being is plastic and moldable. This is why all the mystics and new thought teachers like Neville Goddard preach that we have dominion over this reality. The moment we begin to identify with our inner being is the moment we start waking up to this dream and start to control it. But the more you identify with this ego and human conception, the more you will feel shackled. Only consciousness can control and respond. An animal can only react. Your emotions and feelings and thoughts are internal process. And you have complete control over them. So, regulate yourself from within, and your suffering will become less and less as you master this. And sooner or later, nothing will faze you. And you will truly become unshakable.